want to start off by saying everything that I'm saying in this video is just my personal opinion. I'm going to try to speak as plainly as possible without getting angry about it, but so I got up today and the first thing I see, and I'm not going to name anybody's name, is I guess that on Twitch, Pokemaine got banned for streaming a certain cartoon. And I'm just going to put it that way because I don't even want to put myself at risk. So, this situation blew up, and now from what I'm seeing, everybody is saying it's a DMCA issue. And, I mean, I tend to have a different opinion about this, and I think that comes down to how I grew up in being in a creative artistic environment 24/7. So maybe that's why I think the way I do when it comes to this, but there's also other things that make me very irritable. And probably the biggest blatant thing that makes me irritable about it is they will time and time again, and I'm saying YT here, they will go and they will basically blacklist people who they don't politically align with. And when you're trying to sit there and you're trying to say that you want to stay neutral, yet you're doing stuff like that, to me it comes off as very subjugative and, in a way, very exploitative. Because if you're the ones who have built the system, yes, you control it, but you're doing it in a manner that is subjective when you're saying that you're not subjective. And that absolutely fries me because how many people do we see that are huge YouTubers, streamers, whatever? They go on and they're making blatant disregard of DMCA and using anything from images to whatever, music blips, whatever, and they're never receiving a slap on the wrist. Only now are some of them receiving the slap on the wrist clearly. And the thing is that on the other hand, they are very quick to go after someone who's smaller. And I get it. You're a company, you have to make profits for your shareholders, but that's still, in my mind, very exploitative. And, I've seen things recently on YouTube that indicate to me that it is not going in a good direction with what we have to censor. Like, there is a travel vlogger I watch, and he went to a place and he ate something that was very hot. And, I mean, I think if we're in a scenario like that, we can all agree that, at least if you're anything like me and you're not good with spicy stuff, that you're going to be writing for like the first thing that you can get in your mouth to cool it down. And, that being said, it's stupid. I mean, I understand where the law of it is, but it's like, are we really at a point where this is necessary when we already know what the product is? Because he, when he was filming himself having, issues with the spice, he not only had to turn this product backwards, but then he had to go to the point of pixelating it within those frames. And I'm like, is this really where we're at with censorship? Like, that little of a blip. Like, not even him having it on there for, like, I don't know, 2 seconds at a time. Something like that, I would say. You know? Uh, it's just, it, to me, that's ridiculous. Because, a counter example of that, and if you watch the show, if you're aware of it, even if you watch clips of it on the internet, you go and look at something like, 90 Day Fiance with Big Ed. He is just blatantly slapping his merch all over everything to try to get that image out of himself. That is so exploitative, it's not even funny. Yet, if someone on a little end of something does something like that, then it's a huge issue. I've been subjected to this myself. It's absolutely stupid. Like, there are times I've gone on things for, free music for the background, whatever, for one of my videos, and, I really thoroughly look, when I'm looking at stuff for something that's royalty free. And most of the time, what I end up finding is it'll be like, this is royalty free, just put this information in the description, right? That's their way of being like, you're paying us, you're putting us out there. So it's a way of paying it back. But I've gone and done this exact thing. And yet when I upload it to YouTube, it's in the description, everything's credited to the person. I still get smacked. So what I don't understand is how these things are being allowed, because that's essentially trapping people. Like, I don't care how you put it, that is trapping people. Because if you're putting something out there online and you're advertising it as one thing, and then when the person does the exact guideline of what you're doing, and then you still hit them with the copyright ban, you're setting a trap. You're setting a trap you can profit off of. And how that's allowed when other huge people do this, and it's like they get no repercussion ever. So when it comes to the situation on other platforms I'm not going to mention that happened, it's like you wonder why people are pushing the envelope. You are essentially being that parent that is going, no, 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 you can't do this, making the teenager go in the opposite direction and only making them more oppositional to that idea. Because let's face it, the more you put something in somebody's face that they don't want to listen to, the more they're going to rebel against it. And the thing that we need to remember here is there's certain places on the planet, be it very minuscule, not many, where this kind of stuff does not exist. Because there, if, and I'm sorry, this is the way I look at it, but it is, anything I'm making with my two hands, that's a form of art to me. And there are places in the world where art is considered public. And this kind of, run around the loop system doesn't exist. Like, literal media is completely public, and that is defined by their laws. Yes, their laws are different, but the way they consider it art. And like, this to me is like very much not true art at all. Like, and what I mean by that is like, it's a system where they're setting it up to be like, you can freely do your art, freely do this, freely do that, and then yeah, it's very controlled. So how you can sit there and claim on one hand that you are trying to not be this way, yet you're directly doing that. You're turning around and you're enforcing a control on something that shouldn't have a control effectively. Yes, there should be some stuff, but when it comes down to the way I look at art, everybody on YouTube, I consider them an artist to some kind. Whether they're a professional or not, that's their art. They're creating that with their own two hands. And yet, when we ask for questions, we ask for clarification, anything from YouTube, it's a big screw you. That's where it gets cross. Because when do they ever come and actually talk to the public? Never. Until, major problems happen does it ever work that way. And it shouldn't. We should be able to sit down and have a discussion like adults. But no, time and time again, they choose to do things like the Galactic Senate and, wait until 3, 4 in the morning and then crash everybody's bank accounts, etc. Like everything with the apocalypse did the first time, and demonetization, everything else. And now we're to a place where, in my mind, it's essentially, you're fear mongering people with lawsuits. So now everybody has to watch every blatant frame of anything they're doing. And that's just ridiculous to me. And I mean, that's how I feel about it. I don't know how the rest of the world feels about it, but, when I wake up and I see that this is actually a major issue, there are news outlets talking about it, stuff like that. I'm like, wow, it's really blown up, you know, and it's gotten this bad. So whether people agree with me or disagree with me, that's whatever to me. But, I'm not going to sit here and not talk about it because this is an issue. And I don't know how we as a society, as a whole, as a society, are even going to overcome it anymore. Because, God forbid that a big company doesn't make their 5 cents. And that's what it really boils down to, at least to me. So, I'm getting off of here. I'm already frustrated enough. So, I'm going to go try to relax. But I need to get this off my chest and say something about it.